But to our top story, the war on fraud hitting Minnesota hard. Federal agents raiding over 20 sites, including the now infamous Quality Learning Center, or Quality Leering Center, which was exposed after having that misspelled sign. Now, the twist in all of this, Democrat Governor Tim Walz now wants to take credit for the action. This is hard to believe, even though billions of taxpayer dollars were misused on his watch. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host, Emily Compagno. Also joining us, Caroline Downey, National Review columnist, Lisa Booth, Fox News political analyst, and Paul Morrow, attorney, retired NYPD inspector, Fox News contributor, and host of the weekly rap sheet on Fox Nation. Well, the failed vice presidential candidate said that the federal raids happened, quote, because our state agencies caught irregular behavior and reported it. If you commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to get caught. And that's exactly what we saw today. His post drawing fierce backlash, including from FBI Director Kash Patel, who wrote, "Come again, this FBI and DOJ with our DHS partners drafted and executed every search warrant today. But go ahead and take credit for our work while we smoke out the fraud plaguing Minnesota under your governorship." In an interview airing later this afternoon with Will Cain, Vice President J.D. Vance took a shot at Walz' Tough Talk.
We really did not get much help at all from the governor's office. Where we did actually get some help was from some state, local law enforcement officers who we assigned to the federal task force because the state government wasn't doing anything. So all credit goes to people on the ground, the federal officers, the state officers who are working to uncover this fraud.
Back in December, Nick Shirley released a 40-minute video investigating Minnesota daycares that appeared to be receiving millions of dollars in your money, government funding. It earned over 130 million views in a short amount of time. And not long after, Governor Walz called Nick Shirley a, quote, delusional conspiracy theorist. But yep, he has always been on the case, he tells us. Lisa, I have a picture of Tim Walz. We'll put it up. This is him with a Somali illegal, Abdul Dahir Ibrahim, who was arrested by the Trump administration for fraud. But yet he is on the case.
So, Kayleigh, I've experienced this in dating. It's called gaslighting. It is when we use this psychological manipulation to get people to, to lose perception and to question their own reality. If you remember, after Nick Shirley did this expose and called out the Minnesota government and Tim Walz in particular, what did he say? He accused him of being a conspiracy theorist. He said that it was white supremacy. He dismissed him, and then now he wants to act like he's part of the solution and like, oh, yeah, we work hand in hand with the federal government. BS, Tim Walz. And look, for years, he ignored this. You have whistleblowers that said they've raised concerns for years, and they were ignored, they were smeared, they were sidelined. You have testimony from longtime investigators described a system where their concerns were dismissed as well. Nonpartisan audit found that officials failed to act on clear red flags. You had one review showed that nearly half of frontline worker payments weren't properly verified during COVID. And then you get to the why Democrats allowed this to happen. Go back to that 2021 meeting with Attorney General Keith Ellison, where he met with the fraudsters, and they were like, hey, we need help. And he said, don't worry, I'm going to fight for you. And then what happened shortly thereafter? Donations to Keith Ellison's campaign. So Democrats have allowed this to go on because it's been politically expedient for them to do so.
Yeah, it has been. And to that exact point about people flagging this, I want you to listen to this, Paul. This is a whistleblower I spoke with, Faye Bernstein. She flagged fraud in 2019. She assumed it'd be welcome, but instead it fell on deaf ears. Listen to what she said. Your message to Governor Walz, who used the term make-believe.
Oh, it's not make-believe. That's craziness. It's not make-believe. I see this every day. I still go to work every day and I see this, and it is not make-believe. Yeah. And as far as my being a Democrat, right now we have to have a governor who is willing to tackle this.
I mean, Paul, these people didn't have incentives. She was a Democrat working in government and tried to flag this years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask yourself something very basic relative to Tim Walz's comments here, which is why? Why, Tim Walz, if you have uncovered all of this egregious fraud, then you prosecute it. Hello, you don't need the feds. The state has jurisdiction over all of this. You have an attorney general. Oops, the attorney general was in a meeting with perps who were subsequently rolled up, as you say, Lisa, relative to defeating our future fraud. And instead of saying, look, we got to look into this, it sounds to me like maybe there's some illegal activity here. He takes the side of the thieves against his own constituents. Somebody has to explain that guy's job to him. The fact that all of these investigations and these search warrants are federal is the tell. And that's where Kesh Patel is coming from there by saying, hello, we did all of these without you. I don't see any of you guys on the playing field except for the cops that were federalized. And just to explain how that goes, federal government has the ability, generally with the compliance of the state, so I'd be interested to see how the agreement went, of taking local and state cops and federalizing them. They become legally federal officers. They get part of a task force. I've been advocating for that all along. There's been some of it done relative to immigration enforcement, because that's a force multiplier. They know the terrain on the ground better than the feds do, because there's more of them. They're there every day. And it's just a good way we do it in the counterterrorism world. But the fact that Walz now is trying to say, hey, we did this when it's all federal, and none of his people, Ellison and all the local DA, none of them are enforcing, tells you all you need to know here. It's actually parody to the point that I hope these investigations expand to look at the state government, because there's a reason they're not involved here. And I hope they don't get tunnel vision on just the fraud. You got to look at the Minnesota government here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no doubt. The leftists need to get their messaging in order, Emily, because while Walz is talking about joint investigations and sharing information, the city of Minneapolis tweeted this yesterday: not involved in the federal operations that are being reported around Minnesota today, and as of 9:30, have not been asked to assist with the execution of federal warrants. So there's Minneapolis.
Well, that's why the federal authorities have done all this, not just without the help of the state and local government, but despite them trying to stalwart it at every step. Look, Walz is the fraud. Walz is the fraud. And you cannot recast yourself halfway through the movie from denier and defendant to all of a sudden supporter, reformer. I mean, he's absolutely ridiculous. I want to remind viewers of what he said when news of the fraud first broke, by the way, that had been going on for years and years, and to the no avail of all the whistleblowers trying to get his attention on it, or perhaps getting his attention, but then being passed over. He, remember, said Republicans are using the fraud scandal as an excuse to target immigrants. He also said, quote, this is what happens when they scapegoat. This is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy. And we know he trashed the messenger, calling Nick Shirley a delusional conspiracy theorist, a white supremacist, and don't forget when he called federal agents the modern-day Gestapo. So for him to turn around now and act like he approved it from day one, was a part of it from day one, approves it now, is trying to shift the spotlight from his own culpability. You're absolutely right. He is on the hook, let me be clear, civilly and criminally, for this massive amount of fraud that occurred under his watch, as he massively breached his fiduciary duty to his constituents, and so much more. He directly funded terrorism. So him now trying to claim, you know, I don't know, accolades for it. It's so distasteful. And I really wish, to your point about the messaging, that there would be some accountability from the Democrat Party writ large that would stop putting this person on stage and putting this person in front of microphones. He deserves none of it.
Gaslighting.
And there were rumors of this, and yet he was chosen as vice presidential nominee by Kamala Harris. But Nick Shirley gets the last word. It's officially leering day here in America.
Yeah, and this is all disqualifying for Tim Walz for future presidential and political ambitions. Call me crazy, but I think you lose the right to take a victory lap on an issue when you are the architect and facilitator of that issue. To your point, you know, in 2019 and 2020, Tim Walz and major Democratic officials in Minnesota were informed that the state social services programs were compromised. But instead of escalating those complaints and cracking down on them, they actually just did an intimidation campaign against those in the state government who blew the whistle. They retaliated against them, which is unethical on a whole nother level. And then Tim Walz dug himself a deeper hole, to Lisa's point about the scapegoating. They said the reason why they didn't want to investigate these organizations like Feeding Our Futures. At one point, his Department of Education actually asked Feeding Our Futures to investigate itself, which is the onus is on the government to do that. But the reason they didn't is because they didn't want the racist accusations. They didn't want to be accused of being bigots because they knew that the improper recipients of a lot of these payments were minorities. And that goes to show you that the progressive welfare state is not about due diligence. It's not about making sure that the right recipients get the right payments. It's about not upsetting the apple cart. It's about perpetuating the apparatus for its own sake. And one last point about that. You were saying, Paul, about the federal-state structure. So there is no incentive right now for states to make sure that the payments from the federal government, taxpayer dollars, go to the right people because it's federal money. It's not their money. So we need to make sure that the states are now responsible for their own programs.
Yeah. No, you're
pretty wild, Kaylee, that he was a vice presidential nominee and it took a 20-something-year-old Nick Shirley to bring the House down and to expose this. Like, why did it take so long for this to happen?
Yeah, and now there's bills targeting him, like out in California, for doing great journalism.
And you know why they put out that city statement? Fry's office did, that petulant statement, and there's a nuance. The feds don't trust them. They didn't even know about this. The feds won't tell them because they're afraid that Frey's people will give them up. Frey, however you say his name. They're afraid that he's going to give them up to the people that they're going to hit on the search warrant.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assumption. So pretty fair there.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.